Nobody told you the rules. I will. You keep waiting for the perfect moment to change your life. The perfect plan, the perfect mindset, the perfect timing. But the truth is, your life is being shaped by what you do repeatedly every single day. Not your goals, not your intentions, your habits. That's why discipline changes everything. Because discipline keeps moving, even when emotions disappear. Most people are controlled by feelings. If they feel motivated, they work. If they feel tired, they stop. If things become uncomfortable, they disappear completely. And then years go by, with nothing changing. That's the dangerous part about comfort. Comfort slowly destroys potential. Not instantly. Quietly. One lazy day becomes a lazy month. One distraction becomes a lifestyle. One excuse becomes your identity. And eventually, people stop believing in themselves. Not because they failed once. Because they repeated weakness too many times. That's why discipline matters. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect. It's proving to yourself that your mind is stronger than your emotions. Most people today are addicted to stimulation, scrolling, entertainment, validation, noise. Their attention is constantly owned by something else. And attention is power. The people who control their attention usually control their future too. That's why focus has become rare. And rare people always become valuable. Look around carefully. Most people cannot sit quietly for 10 minutes without needing distraction. That's not normal. That's dependency. The world profits from distracted people. Because distracted people consume more, think less, react emotionally, and stay average forever. But disciplined people move differently. They understand something important. Results are invisible in the beginning. That's where most people quit. You go to the gym for weeks. Nothing changes. You upload content for months. Nobody watches. You study a skill. No money comes in. That's the moment weak people stop. Because they need immediate proof to continue. Disciplined people continue before results appear. That's why they eventually separate themselves from everybody else. Most people overestimate motivation and underestimate repetition. But repetition is where power is built. Quietly. Nobody claps for consistency in the beginning. Nobody notices discipline early on. Because small daily actions look meaningless. Until years pass. Then suddenly everybody calls it success. But success is usually delayed discipline. That's all it is. The gym is repetition. Business is repetition. Money is repetition. Confidence is repetition. Everything powerful is built slowly. That's why weak people struggle with it. They want fast rewards for temporary effort. Life doesn't work that way. Your habits are building your future right now. Every late night, every excuse, every distraction, every disciplined action. It compounds. And compound behavior changes identity. You become what you repeatedly tolerate. That's why self-control is dangerous. Because a person who controls themselves eventually becomes difficult to stop. Most people lose against themselves long before life defeats them. They quit early, doubt themselves, break their own promises repeatedly. And every broken promise weakens confidence. Because confidence is not created by motivational videos. Confidence is built when you trust your own actions. When you say, I'm going to do this. And then you actually do it. Again, and again, and again. That changes a person completely. You walk differently. You think differently. You stop needing external validation. Because disciplined people stop depending on feelings. They depend on standards. That's the difference. Weak people ask, how do I feel today? Dangerous people ask, what needs to be done? That mentality changes everything. Especially now. Because modern life is engineered to destroy discipline. Cheap dopamine is everywhere. Social media, short entertainment, constant stimulation. And people are losing the ability to focus deeply. That's why disciplined people become more valuable every year. Because focus creates leverage. And leverage changes lives. One focused year can completely change your future. But most people cannot stay consistent for 1 month. That's the reality. Everybody wants freedom. Very few people are willing to become disciplined enough to deserve it. Freedom requires control. Control over your attention. Control over your habits. Control over your emotions. Without self-control, money won't save you. Success won't save you. Opportunity won't save you. You will sabotage yourself eventually. That's why discipline is deeper than productivity. It changes identity. It turns weak minds into reliable minds. And reliable people become powerful over time. Not because they are lucky, because they continue when others stop. That's the real advantage. Consistency, not talent. Talent without discipline becomes wasted potential. You see it everywhere. Smart people with no results. Creative people doing nothing. Dreamers trapped in endless planning. Because execution is rare, and rare skills create rare lives. Years from now, you will either thank yourself for staying disciplined or regret wasting time you can never get back. That decision is happening right now. In your routines, in your habits, in your excuses. If this gave you value, you know what to do. Subscribe and like. Stay sharp. I'll see you at the top.